Sergei Kravinov and Dmitry Kravinov are half-brothers studying in school, while they are informed about their mother's death by their father Nikolai Kravinov, who is a crime lord in London. We are told that she was suffering from mental problems, and hence he had abandoned her 2 years ago. He takes the boys to a hunting trip in Ghana as he is hunting the legendary lion named Tsar, who is rumored to have killed 3,000 men and is known as the one who cannot be killed. When asked why he wants to kill Tsar, he says,
"Why do you hunt Nikolai?"
You know this, Bahari. Men who kill legend becomes legend.
Next morning, their hunt continues, and we are introduced to Calypso and her grandmother, who tells her that as per the tarots, there is great danger ahead of her and hence gives her a mysterious serum, saying that she is going to need it soon. Another man named Alexei Sitsovic was also on the hunting trip and wanted to make a partnership with Nikolai, but is rebuffed as Nikolai does not see him as an equal due to his illness. This greatly upsets Alexei, but he suppresses his feelings as Nikolai was too powerful. To introduce his children to hunting, Nikolai hunts a beautiful deer and draws a sign in Sergei's forehead with its blood, but unfortunately, the brothers get separated from the group and to their horror are cornered by Tsar. A scared Sergei stares at Tsar, but does not shoot him, and neither does Tsar attack. But Nikolai arrives and shoots Tsar, prompting the beast to attack Sergei, who is guarding Dmitry. Meanwhile, Calypso was in a jungle safari with her parents, and all of a sudden, she feels an eerie presence near her. This prompts her to investigate and, shockingly, finds the lion Tsar, carrying a teenage boy in its mouth. Tsar drops Sergei near her, as if silently asking her to heal the boy. She heals him with the serum that seemingly brings the bloods of Tsar and Sergei together, and also giving him the vision of an eagle. She calls for rescue, leaving a tarot card with Sergei, as medics carry him to the hospital. In the hospital, doctors try their best to revive him, but to their dismay, he succumbs to his injuries and they declare him dead. Miraculously, just after 3 minutes, his heartbeat starts, and even the doctors are taken aback by this miracle. Nikolai takes his children back to London, where Sergei reads letters from his mother, asking him never to become like his father. The letters show the strong bond which he had with his mother, and we can see that he still misses her a lot. Nikolai soon declares Sergei to be his successor, and makes him quit school and decides to send Dmitry back to school in New York, thinking him to be weak and unworthy for his business. When Sergei disagrees, he shows him the head of Tsar, whom Nikolai had managed to kill. Disgusted, Sergei curses his father and shuts himself inside his room. All of a sudden, an eagle visits him at the window, and after a brief stare, the bird leaves. Post this, he packs up his belongings, and while doing so, discovers Calypso's tarot card and the vial of serum. He carries it with him and begins his escape, but just before he could do so, is confronted by Dmitry, who pleads to him to stay back. But even this is not enough to make him reconsider his decision, and an adamant Sergei still leaves. He flees to a sanctuary owned by his mother in Russia and soon realizes his enhanced powers and agility, which allows him to run faster and climb on huge trees just like animals. Soon, he finds himself in the middle of a wildebeest stampede, but shockingly, the beasts don't harm him, and we see one of them staring at him as if they recognize him as one of their own. All of a sudden, we hear gunshots, and Sergei climbs up a tall tree and uses his newly acquired vision, only to see some poachers hunting the wildebeest for their horns. He confronts them, and then this happens. The scene shifts to 16 years later, where we are introduced to a grown-up Sergei, who gets arrested by the Russian police and is taken to an obscure and isolated prison in the middle of Russia. The inmates try to bully Sergei, but he is able to stand up to them. It is clear that Sergei has enormous strength, and the inmates are no match for him physically. It is revealed that Sergei got himself arrested so he could get access to Semyon Korny, a Russian crime lord who was in the same prison. Sergei reveals himself to be the Craven, and then this happens. After killing Semyon, Craven escapes the prison. With his strength, he bends iron bars, jumps over long distances, climbs walls, runs really fast, and accomplishes other feats of power and agility, all the while dodging the rain of bullets shot by the prison guards. In a beautiful moment, we see a wolf about to attack Kraven, but upon seeing his glowing eyes, he recognizes him as his own kind and lets him go. Using a private jet, he completes his escape and lands in eastern part of Russia where his mother's sanctuary is located. It appears to be his base from where he plans all his operations and stores all his weapons. Next day, he manages to locate some poachers in the area who were illegally killing wildebeests for their horns. He confronts them, and when they try to overpower him, he does this. He manages to see the number plates of the vehicle and tracks down the man named Andrei Lavinge and eventually kills him with a crossbow, showcasing his commendable tracking capability. Meanwhile, we see a grown-up Calypso at her friend's funeral who was killed by Simeon Corney's men. Kraven tracks her down, and we learn that she now works as a lawyer in London and using the tarot card. She recognizes Kraven as the boy who was attacked by the lion. Kraven says that he hunts criminals now, and proposes a partnership to Calypso in which she would provide details of criminals being served by her firm, and he would hunt them down. Meanwhile, Alexei is seen trying to strike a deal with the men who used to work for Simeon Corney. They deny, and one of them shoots him, and then this happens. He hardens his skin and plucks off the bullets from his thick skin, thereby justifying the name given to him, the Rhino. Realizing that he cannot win, he joins hands with Alexei. That night, a grown-up Dmitri is seen playing piano in one of the clubs owned by Nikolai. He displays his skills by mimicking the voice of different well-known singers, thereby impressing Nikolai, who is seen having a meeting with the man whom we just saw being recruited by Alexei. Nikolai tries to buy him, but all of a sudden this happens. He admonishes his son for being a coward and expresses his disappointment as Dmitri did not fight back against Alexei's goons. Back at Alexei's base, he receives a USB drive from an unknown source and is shocked to find out that it contains the video of man who killed Simeon Corney. It reveals to him that the man named Kraven is none other than Nikolai's son, Sergei, and hence employs a man named the Foreigner to track down Kraven. After a long time, the brothers reunite and Dmitri is overjoyed to see his brother attending his birthday party along with Nikolai. The men have a drink to celebrate their reunion and post that. A drunk Dmitri reveals to Sergei that he was hurt after Sergei abandoned him, but he now forgives him for the past. Relieved after hearing this, Sergei goes to a nearby park for a better sleep, but when he returns to Dmitri's room in the morning, finds the bed empty and the apartment in a disheveled state. Soon, he finds Dmitri being abducted by a group of men into a car, and not willing to lose his brother, Kraven gives chase.
There he is!
The chase continues, and although Kraven is on foot, he eventually manages to catch up to them, and then, this happens. Despite trying his best, he could not save his brother, and hence requests Calypso's help to find out his whereabouts. On the other hand, the Foreigner is seen investigating the prison where Simeon Corney was killed. He is soon caught by a guard, but to our surprise, he uses his vision and voice to hypnotize the guard and shoot him dead, letting us know that he is no ordinary hitman. Kraven meets with his father, who reveals that the kidnappers have demanded a sum of $20 million in exchange for Dmitri and have sent his severed finger as a warning. He urges Nikolai to give the money, but an adamant Nikolai asserts that it is not about money but about surrendering to one's enemy, which he cannot do at any cost. Meanwhile, Calypso gets to learn that Dmitri is being held in the outskirts of Ankara and relays this information to Kraven. But in a shocking twist of events, we are shown that it is a trap set by the Foreigner. As expected, Kraven soon reaches the monastery in Turkey and meticulously infiltrates the building, using poisonous darts and his skills to evade being caught. But soon realizes it to be a trap, when his vision catches two men using a rocket launcher from a distance, and Craven and the Turkish man are forced to jump out of the window to avoid the explosion. He interrogates the Turkish man, and from him, he learns that the Rhino is the mastermind behind all this. He hides underneath the fallen rocks and ambushes the remaining men, killing them on the spot. After the fight ends, the foreigner visits the monastery and finds the poisonous darts previously used by Craven, which he keeps with him for further investigation. Craven rejoins Calypso, and for the time being, they retreat in his mother's sanctuary, which is his hideout. There, he requests for more serum, which she had given him when he was attacked by Tsar, but she reveals that she does not have any more of that medicine. Back at his base, Rhino is seen trying to convince Dmitri to join hands with him, citing the fact that they were both mistreated by Nikolai, but Dmitri refuses to betray his own family. This angers Rhino, but just then, they are interrupted by the foreigner, who hypnotizes the guards just by looking at them. He reveals to Rhino that he has key information about the whereabouts of Craven. The darts which he recovered from the monastery in Ankara were imbued with poison from Rosary P, which is only found in a certain region in Russia, meaning that it is where they will find their nemesis. Armed with this knowledge, they force Dmitri to call his brother, and Rhino offers Craven to join forces with him so that they can take over Nikolai's empire. But he refuses. Rhino takes his troops to Russia and orders them to find and hunt down Craven. The men set traps all over the jungle, but Craven, being a natural hunter, manages to avoid them and put down the hitmen easily. But then, this happens. The foreigner manages to inject Craven with neurotoxin, giving him hallucinations. He then uses his skills to fight Craven and manages to gain the upper hand. But just as he was about to pull the trigger, this happens. She manages to revive him using her serum, and assuming that the foreigner has killed Craven, Rhino sets off with Dmitri to demand more money from Nikolai. But while on their way, this happens. A brutal fight begins, and although Rhino initially gains the upper hand using his strength, Craven uses a weak spot on his body to plunge an iron rod deep inside his guts, and then this happens. Rhino gets crushed by the stampede, and with his dying breath, discloses to him it was Nikolai who had revealed the true identity of Sergei. After killing Rhino, he confronts Nikolai while he was on a hunting trip. There, Nikolai tells him that he has grown old and weak and hence was no match for Rhino. Hence, he disclosed Sergei's true identity to Rhino, intending to initiate a battle between his own son and his nemesis, knowing fully well that Sergei will emerge victorious. Disgusted at his father's tactics, which led to the abduction of Dmitri, he secretly empties Nikolai's rifle, which eventually leads to him being killed by a bear. The scene shifts to a year later, where Dmitri is seen singing at a club, but Craven is shocked to learn that he has now taken over Nikolai's business. Craven tries to talk him out of it, but for the first time in his life, Dmitri has got the taste of real power. He reprimands his elder brother for hunting other powerful men, just like their father. To our shock, Dmitri is revealed to have gained the powers of a chameleon from a renowned doctor, named Miles Warren, who identified mimicry as Dmitri's ultimate strength. An upset Craven returns to his father's home in London, and there, he finds a gift that Nikolai had prepared prior to his death. He puts on the suit, which turns out to be prepared from the skin of the Lion Tsar, and takes poses just like the king of the jungle, and with this, the movie ends. Thank you for watching. If you like this recap, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel.